The Tri-Academy Partnership, or TAP, is a partnership that emerged where we wondered about engaging with other academies for the purposes of exploring Indigenous engagement.
Each of our countries, Australia, New Zealand, and Canada, have an equivalent type of Royal Society, and they cover all aspects of academic endeavor.
How do we engage well with, reconcile well, move forward in a good way with Indigenous people in each of those countries?
It's very important for Indigenous engagement gatherings of this kind to be led by Indigenous scholars, because the focus is on Indigenous engagement, and the key word there is Indigenous. Whenever you use that word, from my perspective, it does elicit Indigenous leadership.
These relationships are not new for Indigenous people. As Indigenous people, as Indigenous researchers and scholars, we've been working across these countries for many years. We have some really deeply embedded relationships that we have, and we've done it on the basis of being Indigenous people who all have a common goal, which is self-determination and sovereignty for our nations.
The histories that we share, challenges we share, with our own unique differences. Of course, even within Canada, each institution has their own unique differences too. But that doesn't mean we don't have a lot to learn from each other.
So one of the things that I find was always quite striking in engaging with Indigenous peoples from other countries and hearing their challenges that they're facing is that they're so often so similar, even though the particular context in which we're operating might be quite different. Actually, we're facing all the same kinds of challenges, and so that's why I think it's useful to come together to try and think about what might be some of the ways or solutions for those issues that we face.
You know, for far too long, Indigenous traditional knowledge has been neglected and overlooked in favor of Western paradigms of knowledge. Tri-Academy partnerships can play an important role in advocating for the extension and the importance of Indigenous knowledge respective to the countries and institutions.
Very important to engage students within the research, Indigenous engagement, very early on, and what that inspires is this connection between students and a mentor, faculty supervisor. So there is this reciprocal benefit and relationship building that occurs context, but bringing students into these circles will also help them to develop an international network and prepare them for their future and career. And they will know that they are not alone. And so that will inspire and motivate them towards their vision of their future.
This research summit has been fantastic because it's the inaugural one. It's the first of a series of 3 that'll happen. Next year it'll be hosted by New Zealand, and the following year it'll be hosted by Australia. Already we're seeing the enthusiasm by members participating, knowing that, you know, this is really the start of a process for some in understanding how Indigenous practices occur in other countries and who might be engaged in it. So, you know, I think it bodes well for the future.